Hello, Facebook friends. This is Nick George coming to you live from my kitchen. Just wanted to talk to you guys about a challenge that I put out about 3 years ago on Sam Tripoli's spiritual podcast called Zero. And if you just Google my name, Nick George, and Sam's name, Sam Tripoli, Tripoli, I believe, you'll get that interview. And that's pretty much where my career started, talking to the public about the oldest terrorist organization that's still in control of the human consciousness on the planet, which is the Roman Church of Christ. Since then, I haven't had any takers. I've had lots of people on Facebook that want to play, but nobody that really wants to mess around with the video and find out what happens when we start talking in front of the public about these things. People like to have the safety of being able to avoid being trapped and cornered by logical arguments that I'm going to be able to make. I haven't even got an outline. I don't need one. I do this for a living with something completely different than the important thing that I'm doing it with now. So the techniques that I learned doing what I do for a living, they ended up being something very important for what my passion is, which is this discovery of information that's been hidden from the public for 2,600 years, to make sure that we're under the control of the people that have been printing our money and the Bibles for political control globally, which are the Masons, the builders of society. So I like to discuss the lower demiurge that they worship, who we mistakenly refer to on our money and in our Bible as God. And I'd like to discuss how this lower demiurge came into existence, into power, and what exactly we're doing here in relationship to it and its influence over us that it temporarily has while we are temporarily here. I would like to discuss all those things with somebody who is a defender of the Christian faith. I, in 3 years, have not been able to find one human being who is willing to stand up as a benefactor for their understanding of all food being blessed, money being fine as long as you don't love it, and the government as it's described in Romans chapter 13. And any discerning mind that reads chapter 13 of Romans after you stop this video will obviously be left with the questions that I want answered, and that we won't be able to find we will not be able to find one bold person within the Christian infrastructure that will be able to defend these components, these three basic components of meat, money, and mind control, government, that's what mind control actually, that's what the word gubernmente actually translates to. So for those of you that didn't know that. Anyway, so this challenge has been out there for 3 years, and there has been not one person out of the 80 million Christians in the United States, at least 80 million Christians, not one adult among them who is willing to stand next to me on a digital platform of any kind and have a discussion about the Lord of the seventh day, the Lord of the Sabbath, Kaiwan, Shamash, Yahweh. And when I'm done with that discussion, if someone ever does show the huevos that it is required to stand up for their faith and talk to someone that has knowledge, if we can all have that benefit, I think that we're all going to find that this is where the revolution actually begins. This is the loose strand in the sweater of this terrorist organization that we need to pick at until we have started to reveal what's behind this bulletproof vest of misinformation that is the New Testament and the Old Testament, and what they're really hiding, which is the Pythagorean wisdom. They do not want us to know anything other than how to make better houses with Pythagoras' information. But what they don't want you to know is Pythagoras wouldn't have even let you into his school if you were affiliated with nationalism of any kind, government, mind control. or if you were involved in eating carcasses, because he clearly stated that men of his caliber of intellect don't eat carcasses. And then the money thing, they did not participate in money because they knew better than most adults today that money is the root of all evil. And there's no words to add there unless you're working for the terrorist organization that added the two words that changed that simple understanding into the one that people enjoy today. Anyway, so that's the challenge. If there's even one of you out of the 80 million in the United States, the supposed 80 million Christians, that's willing to have this discussion on this platform, on Facebook, for the rest of the viewers, I'm all ears. I'm off on Thursday and Sunday, and I will work around your schedule. But I'll tell you that everyone that is from the knee-jerk reaction said, okay, I'll do it. They always magically get car trouble or cold feet, which I think is a very accurate representation of the lower demiurge that they worship. And the fact that mine doesn't seem to have those technical difficulties or car trouble issues or cold feet issues when it comes time to stand up for the truth. My God is always ready, always. So please, let's have some takers here and people that don't get cold feet at the last second, okay? Let's see if your religion actually is worth something or if it needs to be shut down entirely, just like the fraudulent centralized offshore banking system and the state, the compromised electoral process that we call the state, that it supports. Okay, I look forward to it. Hope you guys have a good weekend.